Hey everyone, this is going to be a Mask of Fealty Stasis Hunter build. So Mask of Fealty making our Withering Blade create stasis crystals and refund melee energy. Additionally, when we shatter crystals or frozen targets with it, it releases more Withering Blades. So that's a key part of this build, is making sure that you hit the frozen targets and hit the crystals with your Withering Blade. In our subclass, we use Gambler's Dodge to get our Withering Blade melee back. For your grenade, I'd recommend either Dustfield to get all the freezing and slowing, or Glacier Grenade to have more crystals to shatter. Winter Shroud gives us class ability regen and 3 fragment slots, and Grim Harvest giving us Frost Armor. So anytime we pick up a Stasis Shard, we're getting Frost Armor. And while we have Frost Armor, using our Stasis Weapon to kill people makes them shatter, and we get class ability energy when we take damage, which will let us Gambler's Dodge to get our melee. Fragments, Whisper of Rending, so everything's going to be frozen and we're going to do more damage to them because of this. Also being able to shatter stasis crystals quickly. Stasis shards coming right to us, we're not having to run and collect them, just coming right to us. Which that'll keep our Frost Armor stacks up, which is really important. Frost Armor is going to give us a lot in this build, and it's going to keep you alive in harder content. Whisper of Fissures, just to get even more damage, even more AoE out of our crystal shatters and out of killing frozen targets. Getting Orbs of Power from frozen targets, getting class ability energy from frozen or slowed targets, which again gets us our melee back quicker. So in this build, I've spec'd as much as I could into melee, making sure my weapons hit 100. I haven't really grinded for an armor set for this build. If I did, I would get the Grasp of Avarice set, because that is going to get us even more damage resist out of our stasis shards and get you more melee energy, or more energy for all your abilities, but particularly we want the melee from picking up stasis shards. So the Grasp of Avarice set would be great here. And if I were to focus this a bit more, once I had my melee as high as possible, once my weapons hit 100, I'd put all the rest of my points into class, because that class ability gets us our melee back. In our artifact, we have Wind Chill, giving us more Frost Armor, making more Stasis Shards. Crystalline Converter is really key to this build, because collecting Stasis Shards will make our powered melee hit make Stasis Crystals. And Stasis Crystals are going to do a ton of damage here, tons of shatter damage, and just give us even more stacks of Frost Armor, even more damage buffs for our Stasis weapons. Curative Orbs lets us get some health back from our Stasis Shards, which with the Frost Armor, really just picking up Stasis Shards will full heal you and make you take very little damage. Frost Renewal, just keeping us alive if we take critical damage by giving us more Frost Armor. Here we go with Hail the Storm, which will give us even more damage from our shatters, which stacks with that fragment we have that makes our shatters deal more damage. More freezing, more slowing, pretty straightforward. More class ability energy, which lets us get our melee back. On our armor, double hands-on, so all those melees will get us our super really quickly. Harmonic Siphon for stasis weapons to make Orbs of Power. Melee Kickstart, heavy-handed, melee font, letting us get our melee back quicker, making our melee do more damage, more orbs. On our chest, whatever resists match the activity you're doing. I would keep the charged up and just swap these out as needed. On our boots, we've got Invigoration, got some more out of our melee. Elemental Charge, gonna pick up so many Stasis Shards that you'll get a lot of armor charge out of this. And then Stasis Weapon Surge, just to get that additional boost to our stasis damage. Lastly, I take Distribution on my cloak, which I do in pretty much every Hunter build. And then Time Dilation, letting our armor charge last longer, and Powerful Attraction, letting us collect those orbs easily. Next, we have the guns. So I use the Fast Talker, mainly because it is a Stasis SMG that has attrition orbs, so dealing damage with this is going to give us an Orb of Power, and Target Lock. So when we're shooting those frozen targets to proc those rapid hits that give us Frost Armor, the rapid hits give us Stasis Shards, and we're just going to do more straight up damage. All these different mods, artifacts, fragments that give our stasis weapons more damage to frozen targets. Just going to do even more damage with target lock. And then I have a cooling efficiency masterwork, enhanced heat generated, just keep the weapon shooting longer for that target lock. Reload quickly with the cooling efficiency. I like to use Sciaturna, but you could really use any special here. I'd recommend either missile frame pulse rifle, missile frame sidearm, or like a wave frame grenade launcher. I think would also be good just to kind of sweep all those crystals, all those frozen targets. And then I like Winter Bite just because we do so much melee damage already. Winter Bite is going to give us even more melee damage. It's going to slow targets. And we also can freeze things with it in a pinch. So Winter Bite's pretty good here. You could probably switch around some other exotics in this build if you wanted. I don't think Winter Bite is quite essential to the build. It's really the Fast Talker that does all the work here. There's probably other exotics that would work really well here too. I just haven't experimented with it much. But yeah, that's the gist of it. And then I'm going to show some gameplay. Going to talk a little bit more about the build and how I'm using it. Alright, so this video is of me using the build in a master playlist fireteam op. So not quite, the normal strike playlist where things are super squishy, but it's also not Grandmaster where things are really tanky. But you can see here, I'm kill like 3 enemies with the shuriken, and I've already got my shuriken back. There I kill 3 enemies, pick up the shards, I have a shuriken and a half back. So we're really just getting a ton of melee energy. We have frost armor we had times 6 there, or times 5. We've got armor charge uptime. You'll notice we're getting that crystalline converter pretty frequently. And we're just topped up on armor charge. We're just getting our shuriken back immediately. We pick up the shards, it refreshes our frost armor. When we roll there, we got both our shurikens back. Kill that big guy. Already have a shuriken back. Already have a shuriken back. Like, it just loops and loops. You throw shurikens more than you shoot in this build. And that's what I think makes it really fun. I've always really liked Stasis Hunter. I've always really liked shurikens. And they have never felt this strong before. So this build really... It's just a lot of fun. And like an easier content, you just will one-shot everything with your shurikens. But you can see, even in hard content, some of those ads that don't quite go down with one shuriken like they would in easier content. You throw the shuriken, you shatter a crystal, then they're all dead, and then you get your shuriken back. So you are just constantly doing this melee damage. It's kind of crazy how much uptime you have on it. So look there, I roll. I have my 2 shards back, 2 shurikens back, sorry. Pick up those shards. There goes my shuriken again. Shattering crystals when I see them. Like, you shatter one group of enemies, it's full armor charge, full frost armor, you got the crystalline converter. I got my super pretty quickly there. There's that target lock. You can see here, both my teammates die in a moment here. And I just stay alive because I have so much frost armor. You can see how much I'm healing if you watch the bar at the top. Like, I get low, that critical frost armor thing kicks in, I pick up some stasis shards, and I'm like full health with a ton of damage resist. It's really crazy just how tanky you are in this build. I was surprised because I've always liked Stasis Hunter a lot, but it's never felt like that good to use in GMs. I just never felt as powerful as I did with like Void Invis and Overshield and like Devour, Volatile Explosions. Like Stasis just never quite felt as good to me, but this build I tried in some Grandmasters and harder content too, and I found that I was staying alive there as well. And bam, there we go. Our super's already back up. Took about a minute, I think. It's pretty quick. It's quicker when there's more enemies, when there's more stasis shards. But yeah, the ability regen on this in general is pretty insane. And look at that, Orb of Power does like half our health bar. We got our shurikens again. Boom. Like, it is just very easy to add clear down and shit. And you just have so much ability uptime that you're just always able to generate frost armor, generate armor charge, keep enemies off you, make more crystals. So I went ahead and skipped ahead through the kind of traversal section. So here we are in the boss section of this Master, I guess it's a heist battleground, not a strike, with Master Fire Team up. There you go, a whole group of yellow bars just wiped out. Notice also, I'm really not even using my missile pulse because I kind of just don't need it. Like, the bigger enemies go down with the primary and the melees pretty damn easily. The damage here is really just great. But in like Grandmaster, in harder stuff, when you have something like frozen or slowed and it's like a bigger enemy or like, you know, one of those big wizards with like an elemental shield or something, your primary really isn't going to do much damage if you're at like a negative 50 power or something, power delta. So that case, you can take out the micro missile. You can kind of just spam on them, do good damage that way. But yeah, and then I think I'm going to cut this to some footage of me doing a Grandmaster, just so you guys can see how it looks in harder content. I was in a Grandmaster with some other guys who were also running Stasis, and the sheer amount of shards was absolutely crazy. So I'll go ahead and roll that now. So this here is a Grandmaster Conquest. The power cap is 400 and the combatants are 440, so I'm at minus 40 power here. You can see here kind of how this build performs against genuinely tanky enemies. So look at all those stasis shards, first of all. And then the shatter damage just kind of nukes them. It does really more damage than the weapons a lot of the time. But see how much I heal? Like, I took a ton of damage at critical health there, and I just topped up immediately. Like, safely running under the boss just because I know those stasis shards are really going to keep me alive. And then I'm just getting close to the enemies there to proc my slows nearby targets on my dodge, just giving me more shuriken energy when I use the dodge near people, and wanting to hit them with that little shockwave from it. Already have my super up again. Like, as I said, somebody else in this GM with me was also running Stasis. I think they were a warlock, I want to say. So we were just feeding off of each other's crystals and each other's shards. This build, you really don't want to be kind of like hiding behind cover. You want to be kind of in the enemies so you can proc that dodge near them, so you can pick up crystals. Like standing in your dust field grenade with enemies is really nice. Here you can see I'm kind of actually using the glaive. Just getting that shatter damage, picking up all those shards. And to reiterate on something I started the video with is you really want to hit frozen targets with your shurikens when you can. That's really just going to up your damage, going to make more shards, more crystals. So a lot of the time you'll see if I do have 2 shards, I'm throwing them both at the same person just to make sure that they shatter. And yeah, just staying close, using the crystals for cover when you can, making sure that you collect all those shards. Yeah, hit the frozen target. There you go, tons of shards. And yeah, as you can see, it makes pretty quick work of yellow bars. It really keeps red bars like frozen, and they get killed quickly. Tons of damage resist, really, I think is the main thing that makes this pretty good in GMs. And just the uptime on the damage resist, where you're not having to like go invisible and kill a void debuff target. You just throw both your shurikens, and you're going to have 5 frost armor stacks. You're going to get armor charge. The super really does regen fast, which is also nice when you like have champions spawning, when you have bosses or like mini bosses with a ton of health. Maybe might have been good for me too to throw on like a special ammo finder, because I do realize I'm kind of running out of pulse energy and I probably could use it more. But yeah, I'm just going to let the rest of this fight play, and thanks for watching, guys.